So yeah, we're talking about interesting places since it's Fun Friday. This is a great fun way to start, I think. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull up the map here. Let's see if we can have some fun with this. Welcome everyone. This is the barely relevant portion of our whatever we're doing here. Hold on a second here. Where is Grand Cayman? Grand Cayman. All right,
Yeah,
here we
drop
go.
down
So this
south
is
of Miami.
yeah, I got it. So this is let's go ahead and share screen. Here we go. Welcome everyone. This will all make sense in just a minute. So we've got Grand Cayman, and hell is somewhere over here on the
No, it's
right.
it's on the West Bay area where it says West Bay, top left there.
All right.
Top left,
Okay.
yeah. So it's about there, roughly where you are.
Right.
So,
Okay.
there we go. There's
Hell, there it is.
Yeah.
How do you like that?
Hell.
Yeah, we've
All
been
right.
to hell.
So here we are.
Been to hell and back, have you,
And
Adrian?
it does look like hell. It has strange volcanic rock outcrops, which
Look
is
at
why
that.
it was named that. It looks
Well,
like
that's
hell.
just crazy talk.
Yeah. Fire and brimstone.
Is that you? There?
It's
Hell,
good.
main
There is a
entrance.
post office. You can post a postcard with hell postmark on it. Believe it or not.
Oh my goodness.
Excellent.
Isn't that great?
I may need
There
to.
we go.
Rent a mailbox there just for grins.
Yeah, you got little artwork there, right?
I can go
So-
over there every few months and visit my money.
Yeah. Okay, very good. Postage stamps still sold here. Yeah, this is interesting. So you got some rock formations, which on such a small island, right? There is I mean that's kind of a big deal. That's like a main attraction, yeah. So
Yes, it's a good corny sort of tourist one for people
yeah.
who have to go there. Yeah.
Who's this guy? Is this the tour guide? Okay.
Waiting for those tourists.
Yeah. Oh, and you can't take hell home with you. So
No.
what happens in hell stays in hell. Okay, very good. All right. So let me give you another treat here. So here is what I was just talking about, because there's nothing out there. Nothing, Arizona. Here we go. There it is. Nothing. And you can see it on the map. There are a couple of dirt roads, apparently. Can you guys see this? So here's some dirt roads. Here's the view from above. Can you guys see this? So that's nothing.
Man, I don't see nothing. I don't see nothing, bro.
Oh, you're not seeing it?
I don't see nothing.
Oh, right. Okay. So
Yeah.
and if we zoom way out, you can kind of get a feel of where this is on the map with Arizona. Okay. So we're still zooming out. Still zooming out. I mean, there is nothing out there. Here's Wickenburg. Phoenix is down here. All right. So here's the city. Okay. And then this is on the way to Vegas. So if you look here, this is like nothing in the middle. And then you get to Kingman. There's gas stations and whatever. And then up here, here's Lake Mead. Here's Las Vegas. See that? So, but when you're in nothing, here's some pictures. You can actually stop and take pictures. There's an old building or something. There's a saguaro. Here's a cactus, or a Joshua tree, in fact. And there is a structure, nothing, Arizona. There you go. In fact, here's the sign, just in case you forgot where you were driving through. There it is. Look at that. Nothing.
Nothing.
That's it. That's the whole town, so to speak, is you've got an old structure and you've got a street sign and apparently a radio tower or cell phones or whatever. Got some nice rocks. Look at the rocks. So here you go, guys. Here is Middle Arizona rock formations. Yeah, there's some more rocks. There you go. All right. So, we got an animal here. What is this? Yeah, I don't know. I haven't seen that guy running
Tour
around.
guide.
Yeah,
Tour guide again, John.
another tour guide. No matter where we go, whether it's hell or nothing, we're going to find this guy. Just keep showing up. So, all right. So let's stop that and let's get into more serious business. How you guys doing today? Everybody good? Yeah, I'm seeing some thumbs up. Hey, Glenn, thank you for holding down the fort yesterday. I know some people were asking how Shannon, she had a surgery procedure. It was an outpatient procedure. So it was just back and forth to the hospital, and she's good. she's ambulatory, walking around, doing her thing. And she'll be back to raising hell, pun intended, shortly. So, what else? We did have a special event last night for those of you who caught it, and for those of you who didn't catch it. We had one of our friends and clients, Jessica Trueblood, come out and talk about Etsy best practices. I know a few of you were on there live. I was double booked. I'll get that recording posted today. Okay, so I think I saw Virginia there and several others. Okay, I had to be in and out. Yes, Gail, we record everything. Gail, you know me by now. Come on out here, Gail. Let's tell me a joke or something. Maybe that was the joke. That was Gail's joke for the week. Was it recorded? Yes, of course it was. Gail, how you doing, my friend? Is she here? I saw your text, but I do not see Gail. So
I'm here, but I don't have a joke. And I tried to go on this morning to see if that recording was there, but it's not up yet. So that's why I wondered.
Yes, I'll get that put up for you today. It'll be under recorded sessions, special events. So all the way down at the bottom of the menu,
that's where
we put our special events. And of course, that was instead of our normally scheduled brand builder session, which happens every other Thursday. Shannon was not obviously feeling up to doing that after just waking up from anesthesia. So it could have been interesting though, right? Something would have happened. Maybe something good, maybe something bad, who knows? But in this case, we had Jessica. So what are we talking about today? Today we do have our Be Heard session. Let me mention this because I know Linda and Virginia and others have been saying, hey, we need to nail down some dates. So I am going to be, for our regional event, I'm going to be in Las Vegas late October, 23rd and 24th. Those dates are almost written in stone. Now, either before or after that, we have an opportunity to do some fun stuff. And Glenn knows what kind of fun I'm talking about. I'm talking about shooting guns in the desert at the biggest firearms training academy in North America. For those who are interested in that, I can get you in. All right. So I'll get you in. I know I'm talking to members now, but I know people see this on YouTube as well. If you'd like, thousands of dollars worth of free access to a really awesome firearms school, go get your membership at jlsuccessmastermind.com. It's almost free. But the other thing is that particular week, like the third week of October, apparently is the exact worst time to be there in terms of pricing, because like there's some events or something happening and everything's sold out, and it's $5 million a night to stay in, to sleep in a bed in Las Vegas or something. So we got people who know more about that than me. Linda and Virginia are two of those people. And so we're looking at what we can do to massage dates. Okay. So we want this to be as accessible as possible to everyone who wants to participate, including people that if you want to come from England. I see you, Edward, over there in Bradford, right? And Suzanne in Switzerland, right? I mean, just so you guys know, America, well, a lot of the states here in America are open for business, right? It's business as usual. Some states are still, doing whatever they're doing with restrictions and what have you. But I can tell you here in the desert Southwest, we're good to go. So anyway, there's that. Stay tuned. We are going to get together at 6 p.m. Eastern US time today for our Be Heard session. And I intend to have more solid information. I'm waiting to hear back from our administrators in Australia who are arranging the other event where I'm speaking. And so just kind of make sure the dates are what they are. But again, I'm really looking forward to meeting some of you in person for the first time ever in some cases, right? Because we've known each other a while and never met. Glenn and I go way back. I've seen Glenn a lot. I've seen Glenn too much, right? But you others, right? All right. So I had an idea for you today. I had an idea, and we're going to keep it light. We're going to keep it light and fun. And this is a direct, this correlates directly with, we got a couple hands up. All right. So before I share my ideas, Virginia and then Glenn, please come on up.
I thought it was Joke Friday. I have a couple jokes.
You know what? I am like, yeah. Okay, go ahead. Thank you for that.
So we're talking about the desert and nothing and hell in the Grand Caymans and how hot everything is. So how hot is it in Arizona? It's so hot the cows are giving off evaporated milk. All right. Well, how hot is it in Arizona? You eat hot chilies to cool your mouth off.
Right.
And how hot is it in Arizona? Hot water comes out of both taps.
It does.
Ba-bing.
You know what? That's a joke, but that's real. It does. Like cold water, because just the ground temperature and everything, it's like you don't even need a hot water heater when you turn on the cold water. Yeah. So, wow. There you go. I didn't know that people considered that a joke. Come to Arizona, you won't be laughing. Thank you. Thank you, Virginia. Glenn, come on out, sir.
Yeah, well, actually, I heard two really interesting stories this past week. One of them has to do with opera, which is, as you know, is an interest of mine, and the other with the sacred institution of marriage. So we'll do the opera. We'll talk about the opera story first. So this operatic tenor steps to the center of the stage to sing the climactic aria of the opera. This is the pinnacle of the composer's art, and he sings this song, and the audience erupts into thunderous applause. He walks off stage, they continue cheering, he has come back and sings it again. Even louder, more was a hooting, stomping. Oh my gosh, they're tearing the roof off. He has to come back and sing it a third time, a fourth time, a fifth. They're jumping up and down, they're screaming. And finally, he staggers to the center of the stage and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. Thank you so much for your kind applause, and I truly appreciate it. I'm humbled, I'm honored, but I must say, I'm exhausted. I'm sorry, but I simply can't sing it again." And a man in the back of the audience stands up and he shouts, "Nonsense! You'll keep doing it till you get it right." So, Bob, anybody here know someone who's married? Bob forgot his wedding anniversary. Like, for shame. His wife was furious. And she says, "Bob, tomorrow morning, I expect to find a gift in the driveway that goes from 0 to 206 seconds. And if you value your life, it had better be there." So, the next morning, Bob's wife woke up and saw a big box, gift wrapped in the middle of the driveway. She ran down, opened the box, and found a brand new bathroom scale. Bob's been missing since Friday.
There you go. Wow. Good stuff, Glenn. Thank you, sir. All right. Anybody else? I was so neglectful. I was looking at the map and thinking, oh, what are we doing here? Anybody got a dog or something? My dogs are being very well behaved right now. No animals in our midst today. Okay. So then we're going to go ahead. Stefan, I saw your thing in the chat. There's a community called Erhawan in Australia. It's nowhere backwards. There you go. I did not know that. That's cool. I'll have to check that out soon too. So here's what's up. I had an experience yesterday. In addition to running to hospitals and doing all the stuff that I had to do, that weren't work related. I had an experience yesterday which reminded me of the value of working with the right people. I've heard it said that more important than what you do is who you do it with. And that was a multi-million-dollar lesson, actually, for myself. I got to learn that one at great expense. That being said, I because I get to deal with lots of different people with the work that I do, I get to observe people who I probably don't need to spend a whole lot more time with. And this isn't going to be a dark conversation. Okay, but I had an experience yesterday which was a violation of trust. And it was a shock. And I barely knew the person, but it was a situation that anybody ever use the word unfathomable? Like, what were they thinking? And of course, the punchline is they weren't. But but there's a concept, trust but verify, right? And so, fortunately, it wasn't like the most intense security breach ever in the history of the universe, right? Yeah, but you can look at, government, elected officials if you want to see things like that. Okay, so this is a much more smaller deal. Okay, but but still, for me, just because I have, let me say this: I assume everyone has integrity. Solomon talked about this. Glenn can probably quote it somewhere in the Proverbs, but Solomon was talking about how integrity could actually be a liability, because you just assume everyone has it. You get to be naive, I suppose, right? And so I got a reminder. Assume nothing. In fact, when I was first getting into business, my father, my natural born father, who is to this day, in fact, I just saw him a couple of weeks ago in Delaware, right? So you guys know I was traveling. But what he told me was, first rule of business: assume nothing. Oh, assume nothing, huh? Because I remember having a conversation with him, and I was getting into business, and I was getting $100,000 business loan and buying a franchise and all this. And we were talking about something, and then I remember I said, well, I would assume. And he said, well, assume nothing. First rule of business, right? We could take that even further, and we could say that, well, if it isn't written, it isn't true. Now, I like a handshake, right? I like to think that your word is as good as mine, right? But if it isn't written, it isn't true. That's another rule of business that I've heard. And look, and Adrian could speak about this much better than I can, right? Even written contracts, right, can be debatable, right? So what is a written contract? Contract by definition could also be verbal, right? That's an agreement, right? We're just putting it in another form to substantiate it a bit further. Okay, but what would cause someone to get, let's say, negligent or assumptive when it comes to how they deal with other people? Well, reading your own autobiography into everyone else's. This is something I got from Steve Covey, by the way. I'm seeing here Virginia in nursing. If it wasn't charted, it wasn't done. There you go. So let it be written. So let it be done. If it's not written, it isn't true, right? So, and same thing with my calendar, right? If it's not on my calendar, it doesn't exist, right? So, because there's always something else more urgent, right, to impinge upon my time. So if it has to get done, it has to be on my calendar. If it's not on my calendar, I don't know. Maybe if I sit around twiddling my thumbs, I'll remember what I'm supposed to be doing. That rarely happens, by the way. Right? So it's got to be on my calendar. And even then, sometimes there's things that impinge on other things, and we've got to then prioritize. So here's where I'm going with this, is that I had to take a step back, and I had to stop assuming and take a look at what is it. This is a question that comes up a lot for me. What is it that I can do to not only correct the situation, but to prevent it from happening again? Right. And it was real basic. It was real basic stuff. And we'll go into more details. But, we got staff members on it. They're handling the problem and blah, blah, blah. And so that's nice. But what did we just do? What did I just do? I just created work. That was unnecessary work. The point of work is to produce something. So what's the product of that work? Okay, well, in this case, putting out fires. Does that make us money? No. So there is traffic that we can create unnecessarily around the actual product. The fastest or the most direct route, A to B, right? Less deviation, to not aberrate the path with a bunch of unnecessary traffic, right? But to go direct. And so anytime we're experiencing inefficiency, what I like to look at is, well, how can I eliminate the inefficiencies, right? Because all of us as entrepreneurs, we get paid for production, not for punching a clock. And I get it that if we're just coming out of the employee mindset, where it's like it takes 6 months to finish a project that could have taken 1 month, and that's just fine because you're getting paid by the hour. Well, then it could be our tendency to just cut ourselves some slack. And I know that when I cut myself slack, I cut everybody else slack. If I'm being reasonable with myself, well, then you've got license to go be reasonable too, right? I'd rather be unreasonable, right, with myself and have a higher standard and just in some cases just through osmosis, like there's nothing I have to say, but because people can sense or observe or just kind of get the vibe of, hey, this is like, full court press, like that's how we roll around here. Suddenly they're rolling. No training needed, right? They're just like, oh man, we got to get this stuff done. Because look, again, as entrepreneurs, we get paid for production, not for, pushing papers around or something. So there's the rub, right? In the haste of production, we can sometimes I can overlook things that I just assumed were in place. And in this case, it was, there were multiple people who could have done more than they did. But as the leader, I've got to accept responsibility for that. Why didn't I cause them to do what they needed to do in that way? And yeah, there's nothing new here in this group about, the idea of accepting responsibility, for whatever effect we're having. We've been in that conversation for a long time. Just don't assume. Here's a reminder for me. Thanks, John. You're welcome. Okay. So don't assume that others have the same viewpoint on that. And again, problems can get solved, but I'd rather avoid problems than solve them in a lot of cases if it's not going to make me money, right? If it's not going to get us closer to where we want to be. Unnecessary pitfalls. So that brings me to one more thing that I wanted to share with everyone. And then we're going to keep this light. And I'd love to hear from every single person on this call today about how this all relates to you and what you've accomplished this week. And hopefully it's something grand. And we could share wins. We can do what we want here. But the next thing is that if we ourselves know that there are pitfalls that could be avoidable, problems that we don't necessarily have to have, right? We could not have them. And we know what they are in advance. Forewarned is forearmed. Okay, well then what are we doing, or what are we teaching others to do, like our subordinates, employees, or, team members, like in your network organization or whatever, right? What are these things that we could do to forearm them so they too can be more efficient? Because I know that, like we were just talking about, we don't get paid for pushing papers around, we get paid for production. Okay, great. Well, let's say we're running a sales team or something. Is that also true for them? Of course it is, right? Is it you every single time doing every single bit of communication or something? No, you've got a staff of people, right? So what can we do to make them more effective? And so by me relaying to juniors or subordinates or what have you, here are the best practices that I've discovered, because look, I just made this mistake. Okay, here's a mistake for you to not make, right? Now I get leveraged solutions, or I can leverage the avoidance of problems in advance, right? Three of the things that I just more on the training and coaching side of it, right? Three things that I tell people often, okay, is number one, make sure you understand the words. I know we've talked about this before, but a lot of times people get into like some training, or you're reading the instruction manual or a book, like any of the books that we've read. And again, here's the idea of assumptions, right? Now, I think that's what the author means. I mean, I don't use that word in sentences myself, but yeah, I mean, that's probably what they mean. No. Grab a dictionary, look up every definition of that word, look up where the word came from. Here's the derivation. Here's the etymology. Here's the idioms, right? Now you know what the author's talking about. And sometimes that is like the most breakthrough shit I've ever, like the dictionary, like blows my mind. It's like, oh my goodness, that's what that word means. I know Glenn's nodding. He knows what I'm talking about, right? So assume nothing when it comes to like what you're actually studying. Make sure you got full conceptual understanding, because that leads me to the second tip. And that is use it. In fact, use it while you're learning it, rather than walking around with all this mental baggage of unused, unexecuted, theory or something, like some college student cramming for an exam, unless that's the game you're in, right? That's not the game that I'm in. Okay, well, all this stuff is for use. So can we commingle theory with practical application in real time and avoid the overwhelm and the mental, baggage that comes with theory alone, but no practical application, right? And again, you could see this, people with their head down on the desk, trying to figure out the data for the exam that they got to pass, which they're never going to use in real life, right? This doesn't mean anything. in their real life, nor will it. And yet they got to go pass the exam. Oh man, that sucks. Right. And that's everyday experience in modern universities. The third thing is the consistency factor with all of this, or what I call the steady gradient. It's the climbing of the mountain, one step in front of the other, and not biting off more than we can chew, which we're tempted to do sometimes, right? Because we see the top of the mountain and it looks real nice. Okay, well, the way to the top is not through heroics, it's through habits. It's through consistency, not cramming, right? Glenn brought this up, it was at Wednesday. Okay, so by the way, Glenn, I'm terribly interested in like CrossFit and what you're doing with that over there. So yeah, but yeah, to have a proper gradient approach to what you're doing, because now what can we do? We can celebrate wins as we walk the path. If it's always none of this matters except the summit of the mountain, then the whole hike sucks. The whole hike is about how not there you are. Not there. But isn't the joy in the journey? I mean, that's a nice platitude, right? Okay, well, you tell me, is the joy in the journey? Or is it all about like, now that the journey's over? And this has been much of my life, by the way, right? Never enough, never arrived, never there. And yeah, I get it. They were all still on the path. But the idea of not celebrating wins because I haven't attained the ultimate, whatever. Oh man, it sucks. So hopefully the joy's in the journey. Again, not something to be assumed, but I've heard it 10 million times. Maybe I can make that real for me. And how do we do that? We acknowledge each win as we walk the path. I need reminders on this, right? Because yeah, I got goals that have not yet come to fruition. Believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. Yeah. I've got goals. And thank goodness, right? Because if I've already accomplished everything, well, now what? Right? So getting to the summit, that's nice, but where's the next summit? Right? Where's the higher summit? Man, I want to go hiking again. Just talking about all this. I've already summited this mountain. Yeah, I'll get a little rest, give my legs a little break. They'll be burning tomorrow. But what other mountains can we climb around here? Now, for those of you, I apologize, who live on tiny little islands with no mountains. Actually, Adrian, do you have a hill or something there? I don't know. I know we've got a lot of friends in Florida and it's flat. Like I grew up in New Jersey. It is flat as a pancake. There's a couple little bumps up north, but it ain't nothing like compared to the West, right? So if you don't have mountains, my apologies. Adrian, what do you got? You got any terrain over there?
We have got one hill made of trash.
Oh, there it is. Yes, right.
So it's a man-made trash hill, believe it or not, and it looks pretty ugly, and they're trying to cover it over and landfill it so that it's being properly managed. But that is it, and it's called Mount Trashmore.
Is it in hell or is it near hell?
It's not near hell, but it should be exported to hell. Really, we could move hell actually, rename it. Yeah, but Mount Trashmore is visible from a long way off.
Wow.
That's the problem with living in a small place. It's hard to deal with the refuse and the scrap metal and the scrap cars and everything else. If you ever flew to Bermuda in the old days, there was a large scrap heap of scrap cars at the end of the runway.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Waste management problem.
So I wish I had an answer. Not that anyone would listen to it, but I don't have an answer for that. That's an interesting thing. I remember hearing again from my father, who spent some time in Saudi Arabia, and he said due to the sand damage that happens to engines and such, that you could be driving down the road in the desert and there would be Mercedes-Benz, Maserati, right, just sitting on the side of the road, abandoned. Like these cars stop running, they just get out of the car and leave the car. So that's an interesting thing. Anyway, thank you guys for listening to me.
Never saw any Harleys though, John. No Harleys abandoned.
Oh no, they would never do that. Yeah, in fact, I'm still wearing my gym clothes today. So Fun Friday, I figure I can wear whatever I want. This is a Harley Davidson t-shirt from somewhere that I've been. The only way you can get this is to actually be there. Can you see that? Yes? No, I can't hear anybody. So
yes,
yes, we see Napoli.
Napoli.
There you go.
Did you go to Pompeii?
Yeah, that was Vesuvio. You saw there, right? The mountain. And the way I got this shirt, and then I'll stop talking, was I had an event in Sorrento, Italy, for anyone who knows the geography of it. So we were in Sorrento. Yeah, Virginia. And then there was a free day. So here's the lectures and the workshop, right? All right, free day, everyone. Do whatever you want, right? Some people took a boat ride out to the island, and some people did this and that. Let's go tour Pompeii. And I thought, you know what? I want to walk. I want to walk. So I got on the train from Sorrento through Pompeii around to Napoli, right? Naples. Here's the Garibaldi, which is like the Grand Central Station. And I got out in the Garibaldi, and I just started walking, and I walked all day. And the first place I went, Harley Davidson of Napoli, Italy. Got my T-shirt, then started walking in the other direction down to where all the old buildings are and arts and everything, right? And I walked, was it 15 miles that day? Something like that. And I got to see Naples, right? And interesting that Adrian's talking about garbage, because while I was there, the mafia that runs the garbage service didn't get enough bribes or something, and they were refusing to pick up trash. So there was garbage piled up all over the streets. I guess that was the punishment for the public for not giving enough bribes or something. So a lot of corruption there, like we have here as well, but different way. But I remember after having walked, and I got a pizza right across the street from where the Harley dealer was. There was a guy on a street stand making pizzas, like on the street. And so I walked up and I was like, pizza. And he's like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I don't speak too good Italian, right? And margarita. Okay, great. So it was the dough with the sauce, and there's they threw the cheese on there and some, basil, and here's your pizza, right? So I had real Napoli pizza on the streets of Naples. And then I walked. And then when I finally got done walking, I found this cafe, and I got pistachio gelato, pistachio for Americans, right? Pistachio gelato and doppio espresso, double espresso. And it was the best damn gelato and espresso I've ever had in my life. Of course, I was soaking wet. I was sitting outside their cafe from sweat, right? And starving, right? Because I hadn't eaten. So I guess at that point, anything would have been the best, right? But it was pistachio gelato, doppio espresso in Naples, Italy. I got back on the train, went to Sorrento, and took a shower. So there's the story of this T-shirt. It has almost nothing to do with motorcycles. In fact, it has nothing to do with motorcycles. I didn't touch a Harley the whole time I was there. In fact, they won't even rent you one in Naples. They said it's too crazy around here. We don't rent bikes. Yeah, nothing south of Rome. You want to rent a Harley, you got to north of Rome. Stefan, you've got your hand up, brother. What's going on? You've got the floor. Stefan.
Hello. You had asked if anybody had any big stuff happen this week. I with the podcast that I'm working on was the best episode that we've had yet so far. I haven't checked it today, but when I last looked, it was already up to 270 views, and I had to get a minimum of 10 people viewing it for 4 weeks in a row to show that it's viable for him to keep doing it, the guy who's producing it. And we ended up getting 15 or 17. So if I can keep that going, then I could possibly start getting some sponsorship for it.
Well, I'm going to help you do that Monday, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Fantastic. So for those who don't know, I've been invited by Stefan to speak on his podcast, and I am delighted to do so. So we're going to do that. Stefan, I know you sent me some data to look at. I've had 0.0 seconds to look at it.
No worries.
So, worries. So we'll get on that.
It's been crazy here too. My schedule got thrown off for it this week because of funeral and everything like that. So it's totally okay.
Okay. My condolences, and yeah, we will get on that. I'm gonna bring my mouth. So just so you know, I'll have mouth. I got words. microphone. We'll get it done.
Yeah, you got
it. I don't know about graphics or I'll bring the mouse.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Good stuff. Thank you, Stephanie. And congratulations. This is just the beginning for you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Very good. All right. Anybody else want to talk? Commence talking. And the raising of hands and the gnashing of teeth and something, I don't know, biblical stuff. Anybody else want to come on out here today? This was kind of a loose and fun session. Yeah. And you guys got to learn a bit more about me and one of my trips to Italy. Anybody else today? Okay. We're seeing Gail. Everyone, please tune in on Monday at 6 p.m. Yes. Very good. So there you go. There's Mom promoting your stuff, Stefan.
So I'm not sure if we're broadcasting it at 6 or if we're broadcasting it at 2 and then rebroadcasting it. So I'll let you know.
Okay, very good. Yeah, Stefan and his producers had made a special provision apparently for this John Lavenia guy who has so little time that he's got to meet at like 2:15 or something. So,
That's fine.
Yeah. All right. Very good. Glenn, please.
Yo. Well, it's I like these light sort of fun sessions. We kind of had one of those yesterday, sort of a chat about different things. But I've got a small win coming. It's actually something pretty groovy. I'm starting this coming Tuesday, starting recording the audiobook version of my book.
Oh.
Yes, indeed. Because I know some people a lot of people have been asking me, well, yeah, paperback's great, Kindle. Have you got an audio book? I like to listen to stuff while I'm working out or taking a walk or something. So, starting Tuesday, and the plan is to get it done, well, pretty much as quickly as possible. Get it on out there. So,
well, I know a good voiceover guy if you need.
Do you now? Well, there you are.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what's probably the most interesting thing about that, though? When the book is read by the author, for those who have already read the book, then they hear your voice. They're like, I didn't expect it to sound like that, right? Especially with like a Star Trek book, right? And I know it's not a Star Trek book, but the Star Trek theme of it all,
sure.
People have a personality perhaps in mind, right? Oh, I can picture the author now. He probably sounds like, William Shatner, right? Or he probably sounds like, Leonard McCoy or something, right?
Or some freckled-faced geek.
Yeah. And then they get Glenn, who sounds like, Barry White, Darth Vader, friggin' something, right? So, all right, good stuff.
Been conceived to the sound of, anyway.
All right, thank you, Glenn. Okay, so we will get together today at 6 p.m. Eastern for our Be Heard session. I do intend to have more solid data at that point. I know Virginia, you'll be there. By the way, if you need to send me, Virginia, you've got my contact information, right? Let me put that in the chat for you real quick.
I wasn't sure if it was going to go to you or go to staff and get filtered.
Well, this one goes to me. So info.
Okay. All right. I'll send that to you.
Yeah. All right. Very good. So let's wrap up with that. I'll see you all in a couple hours. Thank you all for just being a part of this mastermind, this movement, and a part of my life. And at this point, I know we've got some new members as well, and just welcome to the beginning of the next chapter, right? Because everything that I think we talked about today, as far as not assuming stuff and being definite about where we're going and knowing how to get there and avoiding unnecessary pitfalls, I just look at it as, just to use the book example, as the next chapter in our entrepreneurial success. And of course, that leaks over into all areas of our life, right? Stefan, I assume, if I'm going to assume anything, right, I assume you're doing this podcast with intent for expansion, for greater expression. I assume that Glenn's doing his audiobook version, right, with purpose, right? So if I'm going to assume anything, let it be things that I really don't have to assume, things that I can observe and that I can know are true. And so those two so-called assumptions are not assumptions at all. Anyway, I will see you guys again in a few hours. Make it a great rest of your day. All right. You totally deserve it. Bye for now.